As some of you might know, an upcoming artist named WhatUpRG has recently joined a collective of independent artists, appropriately titled Indie Tribe. Initially created by No Big Deal, the collective has, over these past years, added Mowgli the Iceberg, Jerry Mana, and of course, WhatUpRG. So naturally the four have come together in a celebratory song, and when you look at Indie Tribe's past, this is a recurring thing. Whenever a new member joins, the collective celebrates musically for a time, and from there the new artist is free to do whatever they want. The celebration this time comes in the form of High Horse, or at least that's what we have so far. It's a song of average length, but well exceeds the average number of rappers on one song. On top of that, I believe the song reveals some interesting explanations as to the new dynamics of this collective. I typically do album reviews or artist spotlights, but I'm always thinking of new content to bring to you guys, so with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this single review / group analysis. So before we get to analyzing the group dynamics, I think it's important to appreciate the song itself. It's incredible that Indie Tribe managed to fit 4 members onto one track, and still have it at an incredibly comfortable 3 minutes and 45 seconds. A single artist could easily make a song well over 7 minutes, pack a lot of thoughtful content into it, and that song could still leave you with an unsatisfying conclusion. So then it's all the more impressive that this song has each of the Indie Tribe members with their own style and parts. As someone who's been keeping up with each of these guys, save for WhatUpRG since 2015, it's a genuine treat to see them all staying true to their own sound while meshing well with the other members. You can actually get a feel for who likes what just by listening to each of their parts. That leads directly into the next part of this whole analysis, which involves examining each artist on this song on a more personal level. To start us off, Jerry Mana enjoys a booming sense of bass and a powerful sense of triumph as he does his part with an effortless vibe. The production for his part is seriously banging and points to his generally party-ready style. This transitions right into WhatUpRG, and to me it works like a charm. WhatUpRG shows his confidence in his unorthodox vocals, singing in some alarmingly high notes with a beat that feels quiet, as though it's anticipating an explosive verse. WhatUpRG delivers in the follow-up as well, hitting the track hard with a verse full of great punchlines and energetically fluctuating vocals. With WhatUpRG being the youngest member of this collective, I think it's great that he brought both an interesting youthful hook as well as an authentically passionate verse. He demonstrates himself to be a very flexible artist, able to handle both a quiet beat and a more intense one in the same go. I've seen him perform in a similar way on DJ Michael's song Diamonds, so it's very cool to see this level of consistency. Mowgli the Iceberg presents himself as the polar opposite of Jerry Mana's approach, with minimal and incredibly quiet production. With no strong rhythm to rap to as the beat is mostly quiet, his part instead feels like the build-up right before the hook of a wild rock anthem. This is something I've really come to enjoy from Mowgli, as he's very confident with venturing beyond what is commonly seen in hip-hop. He stands out a great deal on this track, despite the rather short length of his parts. I think this also works with Mowgli's straightforward and explicit style. His message and vibe feels organic, realistic, and at the same time unstoppable. Each time he appears on the track, he does a solid job of building up proper tension and hype. Last, but absolutely not least, we have No Big Deal, and his inclusion feels expectedly humble. With a rapper name such as his performance is really fitting. Think about it, the guy who calls himself No Big Deal gives the last verse on the song, he comes in soft with some melodies, and he doesn't really do anything unorthodox in his part. Again, it feels humble, but No Big Deal is nonetheless a highly talented rapper, and it shows in his verse. When you really focus on some of the things he's saying, it becomes clear that No Big Deal opted for the most subtle approach on this song. He packs an absurd amount of lyricism into his verse on this short song, and I definitely had to rewind quite a few times to truly get some of what he was saying. So not only does this song just sound good, but it actually has quite a bit of synergy, and each artist, short though their part may be, is given the time and space they need to genuinely contribute. Here's where things get a bit deeper. The first few times I heard this song, I simply thought it was catchy and well done. However, the more I listen to this song and the more I look at its structure, the more I see a chance to glimpse what kind of dynamics Indie Tribe might potentially have in the future. One important thing to note is the order on this song. For starters, Jerry Mana starts this song off. Given that this is a single, and singles are intended to grab you right from the start, I think it shows that Indie Tribe sees Jerry as their best foot when it comes to instantaneously catchy music. This sort of thinking can be seen elsewhere, particularly on No Big Deal's Canopy project, where Jerry Mana kicks off the song Video with a contagiously melodic hook. So as far as he goes, I think it's very possible that we could see him more in the future on the other members' songs, giving those single-like songs especially the initial appeal that they need to really grab an audience. Following up right after Jerry is What Up RG, and interestingly enough, I think What Up RG has shown the potential to be as catchy as Jerry Mana, and he definitely could have started the song off. However, in my opinion, What Up RG's catchiness has a lot to do with his high energy vocals. Having Jerry's low-key and vibe-heavy vocals kick the song off makes for a track that instantly feels confident without even trying. What Up RG instead plays off of Jerry's initial catchiness, creating a sharp contrast with his high-pitched singing that makes the song feel multi-layered and interesting. Indie Tribe places a lot of faith in him by giving him a verse as the newest member, and he definitely comes through. Mowgli shows synergy with both What Up RG and Jerry Mana by amplifying the intense energy of What Up RG's verse and simultaneously setting things up for Jerry Mana to come surfing back in with that head-banging bass and flow. Finally, No Big Deal gives his verse, and it shows that he makes for a strong finishing artist. The song is already past its max level of energy, but No Big Deal keeps us listening with his brisk but lyricism-filled verse, bringing the song ever closer to its end without letting the track lose its overall feel. Naturally, his calm verse makes for a great transition into Mowgli's epic but quiet build-up again, leading to Jerry Mana and then What Up RG with the high vocals again. The song has a pretty easy to follow structure, actually. What I feel is nonetheless impressive is that everyone works together in some way at least once on the song, except for Jerry Mana and No Big Deal. Having heard the No Dylan's mixtape though, I can safely say that they've already proven to have an excellent chemistry, so it wasn't as necessary to demonstrate that on this particular song. So then, looking towards the future a bit, here's a few of the things I think we could see happening. The first thing I could see is Jerry Mana and What Up RG collaborating to make catchy tracks that play off the interesting contrast between Jerry Mana's chill vibes and What Up RG's strong energy, given that they both have very unique vocals. The second thing I could see is Mowgli the Iceberg and What Up RG joining forces to make intense and incredibly hard-hitting songs, and even venturing into musical territory with some notable rock elements, as they both have rather fitting voices for it. The third thing I could see is Jerry Mana and Mowgli the Iceberg collaborating to make suspenseful tracks that show a balance between vibes, headbanging bass, exciting moments of great build-up, and sober messages. The fourth thing I could see is No Big Deal and Mowgli the Iceberg making tracks together that are overall contemplative and perhaps a little melancholy, given their ability to make tracks that feel very emotional and thoughtful. Of course, these are only some combinations I could think of, and there's even possibilities for the three of them combining at once. There's really not a lot of limits sonically with these guys. They're solidly diverse and yet are able to mesh without conforming to one particular style, which is what makes them stand out as a collective in my opinion. On a side note, I think even the cover for the single communicates the future dynamics of these guys. Mowgli the Iceberg is low to the ground, signifying his sobering messages that definitely humbles both himself and listeners. Jerry Mana is in the back, behind everyone else, signifying his laid-back methods and tendency to do his own thing without distancing himself too far from the tribe. What Up RG sits atop a horse, signifying his readiness to charge and take off at full speed. This meshes well with his tendency to sound very energetic and full of passion, and his general confidence is reflective of him saying that Indie Tribe's horse is too high, as in the group is figuratively untouchable. He carries this mentality into making his music, and if anyone should be on top of the galloping horse, it's definitely him. Lastly, No Big Deal stands at the front of it all, ready to lead in a sense. This couldn't be more fitting, given that he originally founded the group, and on top of that, he consistently shows his ability to neatly finish a group song and tie it all together so that it doesn't fall apart or lose power towards the end. His outward nonchalance combined with his sharply calculated wordplay and flow make it very fitting that he goes last, and in general, he makes sure that the group as a whole finishes strong, as a leader figure would. I could simply be reading too deep into these things, but I truly found this to be a promising song with an incredible amount of structure and thought put into it. And I don't think it was merely a coincidence or just some single. Indie Tribe was already a very promising collective, and now that What Up RG has joined, that potential and reach has more than doubled. What did you guys think of the song overall? Was it just another radio-friendly single or what? Hit me with your thoughts in the comments below. I'm pretty curious to see if I'm the only one feeling a certain way about this track. Now, normally at this point I'd say peace out, but with this particular video I feel it's way more fitting to leave things to Indie Tribe.
Tribe on the move. All my masters only have one master, like I won the masters. Got a jacket on me, got a pack of homies, and this passion on me. Be a savage till my holy matrimony.
This world gone crazy, but we in it till we die. But I ain't tripping, cause my crew is on my side. We keep on loving when the enemy attacks. On my life, keep it indie,
Yeah,
max.
What you thought, boy, it's the drive. Hey, you can touch, but you can try. Hey, pulling up and they survive. Yeah, pull that hat into the side. Yeah, yeah.
Please don't touch the truck. Horses way too high.